Question. Avoidance and narcissists seem to come up in discussions, and I wonder if someone could explain where the line is drawn between the two. I'm thinking if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you'd want to run for the hills, but there's hope if you're with an avoidant, question mark. Okay, so I often avoid the discussion of narcissism in this group, primarily because it turns into a witch hunt, and there's a lot of confusion around narcissism, okay? Avoidant attachment is a way of attaching. Narcissistic personality disorder is a specific personality disorder, and there's a specific criteria for that someone must meet in order to be given the label. There's covert narcissism, which is more like hypersensitivity, using withdrawal, things like that. And then there's overt narcissism where someone's a bit more grandiose, belligerent, aggressive, that kind of thing, okay? But here's the thing. Codependents have narcissistic wounds as well, which is why they are magnetized to narcissists, okay? Because at the basis of narcissism, there is a disconnection from self. And the sense of self is sourced from your sense of, you feel as if you are the reflection in the mirrors of everyone around you. So it's like having a toothache in the center of your being. When you have a toothache, you can't think of anything else. There's nothing else that you can think about because you are in so much pain and you're crabby and you're cranky and you're mean, and all you want to do is find a way to alleviate that pain. And whatever you can get someone to do to make it happen, you will do that thing. So narcissists have a toothache and it's in the center of their being. Okay, so yes, they are selfish, but it's because they are in so much pain. And there's lots of layers around that, not understanding that about themselves. There's little consciousness around it, okay, usually. Now, I hope you've noticed that for the codependent, or they usually are more associated with open heart styles or anxious attachment, that's the same mechanism. There's a disconnection from self. There's a sourcing your sense of self from being in relationship to someone, from feeling as if, well, if they're happy, then I'm happy, right? I don't want to ask them to do anything. I don't know if they won't like it, and if they won't like it, then I'll feel bad about myself, you know, all that. Hope you notice that that's narcissistic as well. So when we talk about narcissism, they are the same, and that's why they are attracted to one another. Now, the way it plays out in the manifestation of the way they cope with the same wound is different. And when we look at disorders, we're looking at basically archetypal patterns of the way we've dealt with the same wound. Okay, so narcissism, the word narcissist, the diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder describes an archetypal pattern of coping. So does codependency, right? But they're two sides of the same coin. Now, avoidance, same thing. So that's just a bit to share about that. I actually go much more deeply into this because it's come up a lot, and I've finally agreed to address the issue. But actually, that's in my course, Disorganized Attachment 101, and I talk about the differences between narcissism and borderline personality disorder, and I really sort of map out the differences between the two, at least from a criterion perspective. And then I also explain how these are the same, and that if you are attracted to a narcissist, you need to start looking at your own narcissistic wounds, okay? But you cannot say that all narcissists are avoidant. You can't say all avoidants are narcissists. You could say some avoidants may be narcissists. You could say some narcissists may be avoidant. You could also say some narcissists are anxious. I've known a lot of narcissistic anxious people. And really, you can identify that most when you look at their behaviors, when you look at the way they send mixed signals, when you look at their protest behaviors, their activating strategies, or their deactivating strategies. A lot of people will watch this video I did called Breadcrumbing Demystified, 5 ways avoidant partners send mixed signals, and then they don't watch the other one, which is 4 ways anxious partners, 4 protests of the anxious partner and how they send mixed signals. Watch both those videos and you will see how those types of behaviors both are evident of narcissistic wounds. So I will say all insecure attachment styles are the result of narcissistic wounds. All of them, okay? when you start calling people narcissists, be very, very careful, because what's that expression? You point something and then your thumb points back, right? So also there's a lot of confusion around what that really means. And if that's something that you're deep into, I recommend buying my course, Disorganized Attachment 101, because I go much more in depth with it. Good question, Karen.